Good.
Before the whole pandemic thing, we had planned to drive up to Vancouver for like a weekend and have like a mini vacation. But then pandemic and all that,
Need a plan to fly to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, when you open up the borders again.
Fair.
Talking
Speaking of
about
which,
that,
isn't Scoop Fest happening next year?
it is.
Are we going to be invited to that, do you think?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not happening this year, right?
Not happening this year, no. Next
Okay.
year, 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was.
But it's like
What's hanging
early
out-
2022.
Oh, is it
It's
really?
like March or April.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was hanging out with Justin here, but last week,
Mhm.
and for the first time in a year plus, and the two of us agreed that we are itching to go on a drive up to Canada to visit a Toys R Us again.
Just for the toys. Yeah.
Absolutely, and actually, to hit up that really fantastic toy store we found up there
Mhm.
that had like all the crap on the walls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
How do you figure we do this? Because I see the list.
It's a
now.
long list.
Did everybody add things to the list? Greg, did you add anything to this list?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
It is
We
a
could
long
just
list.
go down the list.
Yeah, and I
if we
actually
wanted to.
I mean, I feel like we could talk about the Microsoft conference in general,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
cover everything in it, but just say like, here's the things that were in the conference that we really liked. The stuff that I added was just like from, well, I just highlighted them, like Endling, Vocabulantis, Despelote, and Walk.
Yeah.
They're just some indie games from like Day of the Devs, basically.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about them. They just look interesting.
I actually
Okay.
watched the trailers for all of those.
I've been going through them all.
It's amazing how well when I
They
say I
all look the
watched the
same?
trailers for all of those, I mean I watched the trailers for all the ones that we have
Oh.
in our outline.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that it's amazing when we actually prepare an outline before the show, how we can prepare for what we know what we're going to talk about.
We know what we're
Weird.
going to say.
It's unusual.
Talk about. Yeah.
It's unusual for us.
But I think we'll get
Alright.
through this pretty fast. I mean, I don't think we need to
Yeah.
sit and talk about a lot of
No.
these at length.
No,
No.
Spend 5 minutes on
No. But
No.
on walk.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
guess we should get going then. Hello and welcome to episode 600. That's not right.
Okay.
No.
Hello and welcome to
There
episode
you go.
762 for
There it is.
Tuesday. Wait, I should probably say the name of the podcast. Let's try that.
Oh, boy.
Take 3.
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome to episode
So embarrassing.
762 of the Player One podcast
That's
for
the shit, man.
Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Hi.
Hi there. And
How you
joining
doing?
me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
CJ doesn't care to tell you how he's doing, Greg.
Wasting no time. We
at
gotta
this.
go. We gotta roll
Look at this.
here.
See how
Yeah, I know.
this
When CJ's in a hurry, nobody gets to talk.
yeah. No, I understand. I understand.
That's right. That's right.
Hi, CJ.
Hi, Phil.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great because
That's great. It's really nice to hear from you again. It's been a week since we've last talked, and
Phil?
so much happened.
Phil?
Yeah, Greg.
I'd like, before we go any further, I'd like
Yeah,
your
please.
thoughts on microtransactions.
Oh
video
boy,
games.
hold on here.
Oh.
I have
hold your horses there.
some notes.
Oh, look. Okay, good.
Okay.
I
let's see.
thought you might.
Webster's dictionary defines microtransactions.
Yes. I am filled with the joy of new game.
That's weird because I'm
Information and
CJ
trailers.
with the joy of new games.
And we're going to
Get
talk
it.
about E3 stuff, but
Uh-huh.
I feel like we should talk about Ratchet and Clank and maybe Game Builder Garage, maybe some Outrun
Garage.
before we talk about E3 stuff.
I can't hear that name
Builder.
without
I
thinking of
got
it that way.
I got it.
Yeah.
I always heard birthday cake barrage.
I know. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it's the cadence and the voice that matter. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Game Builder Garage.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
let's kick it off talking about Ratchet and Clank. Rift Apart,
Ugh.
which came out on the PlayStation 5 computer entertainment system
Sure did.
last Friday, June 11th.
It's like
It looks
playing a
okay.
Pixar film.
It looks nice, I guess.
It's like playing a Pixar film. What graphics mode are you guys playing in? I am playing in Performance RT, which means 60 frames per second plus ray tracing.
I dragged my old Sony Vega back out of my storage unit. I'm playing it
That
on
sounds back spasming.
standard definition CRT,
Yeah,
the way the developers meant it to be played.
that's right. Just
Now,
like
I'm
we
playing-
did when the first Ratchet and Clank came out.
Exactly. I am reliving the joy.
Wow, that's true though. We were playing the first Ratchet and Clank on
Of course
CRTs.
we were.
Yeah.
Absolutely we were.
God,
I'm
that
just
was
playing
a
it
long
on
time ago.
the Fidelity. Is that the default
Fidelity
mode?
is the default. It's 30 frames per second.
30
has
frames,
all,
yes, it's-
all the bells and whistles.
It's 4K because I
Native
tried
4K.
I tried the other modes.
Yeah.
I tried them out, and I think I've talked on this show semi recently about how I don't my eyes, my brain, they don't, I don't get the 30 to 60. I don't
You
notice
don't
it
see
as
as
much
big of a
as other people
difference.
do.
Yeah.
And I certainly noticed it
Mhm.
when I was switching back and forth, like kind of on the fly. I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely smoother in the 60 frame a second mode. But I was like, but you know what? I'm fine with it being a stable 30 frames just to have all the pretty bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
so pretty.
was
It's
playing.
so pretty.
I was playing on Fidelity up until is it Sargasso? Is the name of that?
Yes.
Planet?
That's the first planet you go to.
No,
Second.
it's the first planet you go to is Rivet.
Okay.
Anyway, and then I hadn't bothered trying. Honestly, I didn't even. I mean, I know I knew about the different modes, but I didn't bother checking them. I just sort of wanted to play the game.
Mhm.
And a friend told me to put it on the one you're playing on, CJ, Performance RT, because of the 60 frames per second. And I did, and it felt great. And I'm sure it looked better, or it moved better. Like I'm sure I noticed something.
Yeah.
But after a while, I put it back on Fidelity, and Sargasso is actually it ended up being a great planet to do that on, because boy, can you see the difference. There's
Hmm.
just so much more detail, like in the grass and the especially the particles and things in the air. They really go crazy with them, and it just makes it, to be on such an organic planet, it's really easy to see that stuff. And I kind of ended up being the same as Phil. It's like, yeah, 60 frames per second is important, and I did like it, but I'm totally happy with 30 frames with just every graphic effect
Everything
being
on.
cranked up to 11. I'm
Yeah.
totally down with that. It
Yeah.
makes it, like I said before, I mean, the PS5, most of the stuff I've played on it has been PS4 stuff,
Mhm.
right? This having that cranked up on Fidelity makes it feel like a PS5 game to me.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how you guys feel, but the things happening in the background of this game, I feel like I am playing and I can't possibly notice all of the little
everything,
details
yeah.
that they put in there. Like the scene at the beginning where you're bound, like the parade
Spoilers,
that
by
they're
the
having.
way.
Spoilers, yeah.
We're gonna be going into some Ratchet and Clank spoilers here, so
Yes,
'cause
be
you
prepared.
got to figure there's probably a lot of people.
We probably won't go too far
Right, but
into it.
When have we ever
I mean,
gone
we'll
too
be
far?
Yeah.
But there are people who probably still haven't been able to get PS5s, much less
That's true.
have played this
That's
game.
true.
yet,
Use
so
those chapter skips, people.
use chapter skips, please.
Hey, RH channel in the chat. Sorry, keep going.
All right. So, yeah, the first little bit where you're in that parade sequence and it's kind of showing you the tutorial of the game, basically. It felt like there was just so much going on in that environment
Yeah.
that I wanted to pay attention to, that I kind of wished I was just watching, but I have to pay attention and shoot stuff.
That first stage was very clearly we're showing off
Yes.
what we
Yeah.
could do with this. It was, and even with the
Even the
dialogue.
prelude in the city,
Oh, yeah.
in Rivet's dimension was like,
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of characters walking around and
Mhm.
traffic in the air
Yeah.
and everything was insane.
Well, and when you
Absolutely.
start off the parade and Ratchet and Clank are just, oh, it's great to be back. Yeah, it's been a while, but here we are. We're back, ready for doing more heroics. We're doing it, man. It was
Yeah.
very self-aware, which was kind of cute.
Yeah, that stuff is great. And there have been some times in later stages where, yeah, again, there's just so much happening. I wish I could kind of sit back and pay attention to everything that's happening.
You can. No one's stopping you.
You're right. You're right.
Clear out a bunch of goons, and then just spend a few minutes just wandering around, exploring, take in the sights, man.
Yeah, but damn, this game is pretty.
It's a nice looking
It's
game.
so good. Like,
Yeah.
and Ratchet and Clank is sort of tried and true gameplay, and that stuff is still great in this, but it just looks so good. It's spoiling me. I mean, this weekend watching game trailers, it's like if something doesn't look as good, I'm like comparing things to
Most
Ratchet
video
and
games
Clank.
look really ugly, don't they? I'd never noticed that before, but
I know. I've suddenly
Wow.
become someone who cares about graphics because of this game.
Snob.
Graphics snob, yes.
I find that, yeah, I mean, what I'm really enjoying too is that it just plays like Ratchet and Clank. Although, you know, the way I play Ratchet and Clank is always so start and stop, because it's like I clear out an area and then I have to run around and make sure I destroy every crate, and then also see if there's anything else that I can destroy, so I can swing my, But
and early on, the great thing about that is that they at least give you a map there where you can see like raritanium and like some of the collectibles, which is very handy for clearing stuff out.
Although I have to say, if I have any gripes about the game, it's the map.
Really?
Because I wish I could. I know you can set waypoints. I kind of like to be able to have like a mini map on screen or something. I find I spend so much time switching between the map and the gameplay. After you sort of do the main path in any area, and you want to like I'm on Sargasso right now, and I haven't gotten off that planet yet because I finished sort of the main area. And then, of course, it's like, well, now we should keep going. Oh, but I looked at the map, and there's all this raritanium to find, and there's an optional mission. So I want to stay and do that stuff. So really, what you're doing is running around to different icons on the map and getting whatever you need. Which is great. That's Ratchet and Clank, and that's fine. That's what I expected. But yeah, I just was constantly swapping between, and I know I can set a waypoint to one particular thing, but if I'm going to that and there's other stuff on the way, it would be just nice to see some kind of notification. And then the other thing that I would really like to see on the map is a way to filter things, which doesn't exist right now. And like on our Sargasso, the list of different icons that are on the map is as long as the screen. So it's like, I mean, it doesn't make it impossible to use, but like if I just want to look, if I've decided, okay, now I just want to get the raritanium, I'd like to filter everything else out. So at least then I know that I got all the raritanium. Or like the mini rifts, again, I can search around the map, but sometimes icons overlap with each other.
Yeah, that's
and it's like, I just want to make sure that I got all this stuff. So it's a small gripe. It's not harming the game in any way. It's just something that I kind of would be more convenient.
Gotcha.
You want to know my one big complaint about this game?
What?
What?
It's too good.
It's too good.
It's almost too good.
The Ryan McDonald Gears of War.
It's almost too good.
It's almost too good.
No, my problem with this game is that it is one of those games that
by the way, if you can
I thought CJ was going to get naked for a second.
Yeah, no. Oh, CJ's wearing
by the way,
wee shirt.
Wee. Yeah. Ratchet and Clank.
There you go. I'm really excited about this game here. Check out these nipples.
My nipples are rock
Check
hard.
out my nips.
Where'd you get that shirt?
PlayStation Gear Store.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, very nice.
It's where CJ buys his entire wardrobe.
That's right.
Did they pay you
No,
plug
they did
that.
not.
No, they offered to, and CJ said
Oh,
no.
and he was like,
They
And then he
don't
paid
worry.
full price for the shirt and plugged it anyway.
I'll do it.
Right.
I'll do it for free.
Yep.
Mhm.
How dare you,
Um,
sir? I will do it for free.
This is one of those games where I really, really would not like to have subtitles turned on because
Yeah.
feels like you're watching a movie, and having the subtitles on kind of
Mm.
breaks that illusion. But it's one of those games where I kind of have to, because it's one of those games where you can start, you'll get to a part in the level and some NPC will start talking to you with vital information, but if you happen to not be standing right next to them, or if you happen to wander away, their voice
Mhm.
gets quieter and quieter, and suddenly you can't hear what they're saying at all.
Yeah.
Maybe
like,
be
you know-
polite and just stand there and wait until they finish talking.
But there were
Friggin'
occasions
Americans.
earlier on in the game where I'd blow up some crates or something like that, and then like an NPC would be like, "Oh, hey, you're here," and it's like, "Wait, I haven't even walked over to you yet. I haven't even initiated the conversation." And they're like,
Oh yeah.
"Okay, I'm gonna go follow me over here," and then they run off, and I'm just like, "Wait, where was that person? Where are they going?" And I think if you really need to do this, so make sure you do. And I'm just like, "Wait, hold on, I am not following you."
him go.
No. So I'm racing to catch up, and I'm like, "Wait, I only heard half of what you just said. Can you
Yeah.
please repeat it?" So I've been forced to turn on subtitles so that I
I
can
see.
not miss any vital
Old man problems.
information.
Yeah.
Because people, these NPCs, they don't care where I'm at. They have their script. They're getting
Mhm.
through their script no matter
Well, they're
where
union.
I am.
They got to get through it.
Yeah.
Gotta do it.
Look, we got a 15-hour
we're on the
game we
clock.
got to get through. We are
Yeah.
not wasting any time. I have no idea how long this game actually is. That
I'm like
15 was
8
a
planets
wild
in.
guess. Oh, really?
Maybe more. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Y'all got nothing to do
and
with
I'm
your
having a
time.
blast. I'm having a blast playing this.
You are a fair bit farther than I am. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm still on Sargasso.
And the
I finished.
sequences, I like the sequences where you go through the time rifts, and it's not
I found that so hard to
overdone.
get. I found that so hard to get used to. Are you talking about when you can grab the rift and pull it towards
no,
you?
not grab the
Oh, okay.
rifts. No, I'm talking
Okay.
about the purple rifts. Like when basically like some kind of cinematic happens, and you go from one place to one place.
Keep
to
waiting to
another
see
place.
Stan Lee in one of those.
There's usually like a sequence or whatever, and those are still really cool, and they don't happen enough where I'm going to get tired, where I'm getting tired of that quite
Yeah.
yet.
So which because I blank on all the planets' names. Which one's Sargasso?
It's the big green. It's Rivet's home planet.
Okay.
So I'm very early on in the game. I just
Okay.
was so busy the end of this week that I haven't had time to really play it very much.
Okay. Yeah, because I finished that one, and then there's well, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil upcoming stuff for you if you
Damn right.
plans behind. But when Clank dies,
Again?
well,
Hasn't he done that a few times already?
he's a
Guys like
clumsy-
Loki.
Use that
clumsy
trope.
robot.
Mm.
But yeah, so I'm a couple planets ahead of you. So
I miss Mr. Zircon. Though the fun guys are fun.
Mrs. Zircon.
I know we have Mrs. Zircon and Miss Zircon.
Okay.
And Zircon
Well,
Jr.
keep playing
and
the game.
Keep playing the
pacifist
game.
Mr. Zircon.
Just keep playing
Okay,
the
so
game, dude.
oh,
So I must have gotten past Sargasso then, because I went
Yeah.
back to Sargasso. So I've been on the third planet then. Yeah,
So
because
you've
I've met
been to
I've met Mr. Zircon.
you've been to the Mr. Zircon's like
The
sports
truck
bar
stop.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Zerkies.
Yeah.
Zerkies, yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you're a little
A
further.
little further then.
Did you go to the planet where you have to break into the archive?
No.
Okay. That's
I think I'm on the threshold of that mission.
it's
That's a fun one.
But I went back because I was stupid enough to look at the different optional missions on the planets and like, oh, I haven't done that yet, so I'm going back to Sargasso and doing that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's a good game. I would imagine at some point when we don't also have a bunch of E3 stuff to talk about, we will do more of a spoiler cast.
Yeah.
About this.
Yes.
I'm not playing anything but that this week, so
It's
definitely
boy,
be further on.
It's really
Yeah.
really
So
good.
have you run into, because one of the things I have seen complaints about, and I've
Mhm.
kind of run into stuff like this, is the collision detection, especially on the edges of platforms or
I have run into
non-platforms.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
I've
little messy around those areas.
I've only had one instance where I fell through a platform. It was a platform that was forming under my feet. Because
Oh, that's a little different.
there's one part where you are, you're running along a surface that is, as you progress, it's, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
flying up from underneath you to form the road. And I ran onto it like just as it reached the level it was supposed to,
And the
and the
game was
game
like,
was like,
nope,
yeah, nah, not close enough.
not giving you that one.
What is
Ref's
it?
not giving you that one.
So
Fell
I
right
think
through.
this was on Sargasso. There was a piece of raritanium like above one of the shops,
Mhm.
Okay.
and you have to like jump from box to box to get on the top of there. And there's raritanium up there, so of course you're gonna try to go up there. So I went up there, and the game was like, "Nuh-uh, no, you're not," and like played this weird animation, and then it went to a black screen and
Oh, really?
spawned me somewhere else. It was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
no.
Yeah, I've heard some
okay."
respawn issues too.
Oh man.
What I've been seeing, and I haven't fallen through the world or had any of those respawn issues exactly, but the optional mission on Sargasso, at least one of them, is you have to go collect these purple things called Zlurp stones,
Okay.
Okay.
and eventually you end up, spoiler, you end up riding like a dragon type thing
Uh-huh.
Okay.
because you're feeding her. You're basically, these are her food. And once you've collected a certain amount, then it's like, okay, she'll let you ride her now, and you're flying her around. And what they don't tell you, like a bunch of them are in these areas that are really high up, so you just kind of assume like, and the dragon can't shoot or anything like that, so you kind of assume, okay, I'm gonna have to climb up here, and the dragon has very specific perch spots throughout the world, so you land on a perch, and then you have to get to those other places by foot. And the thing that the game doesn't do a great job telling you until you're at least a little later is the dragon does get uh, uh, the ability to shoot fire during the mission. You have to unlock it somehow. It doesn't tell you how to unlock it, just tells you that you've done it. And that's how you're supposed to get all these Zlurp stones that are perched up in these areas that you really can't get to otherwise. But because it doesn't tell you that, I spent a lot of time trying to climb to areas that the game didn't want me to. So I ran into a lot of the whole, like, that standard jump, you just never hit the landing animation. They're just
Right.
floating above the ground a little bit because that's not really
Yeah.
a platform you can stand on.
Yeah.
So it's a little, it's beautiful, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a little rough around the edges, a little rougher around the edges
Yeah,
than I
and it's
kind of expected it to be.
it's interesting how much those stand out, since the game is so amazing looking, that when you have a moment where you're doing the falling animation on top of a platform, it looks very out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when you like clip through something, or clip through a platform, it's just like,
Right.
yeah.
I'm not expecting that in this game.
I'm expecting visual perfection.
It's
But
not as
in
buttoned up
this?
as I
How did
expect
this
from one of their
happen?
games.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but again, they're all minor quibbles.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not
yeah.
hurting
No,
the
this
game
is-
for me so far.
This is
The minorest of quibbles.
is on the very short list to
Yeah.
to be a game of the year for old
Oh,
Phil
yeah.
here.
And for me,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm only a few hours into it so far, but it's
it is so
it's
good.
really
It's so good.
I've been anticipating it since the PS5 was announced. So,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just exciting that it's here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Should we talk about Game Builder Garage real quick?
Game Builder Garage.
Yeah. I picked this up too. I know you've actually
I
been
did.
playing it a fair amount, right?
I have. I've gotten through the first 3 little games.
Wow. I just did
to give
the
you
kind of, I mean, the whole game, it's pretty much just
tutorials
a
on how to
big
make a game.
tutorial. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say I got through the tutorial, but the tutorial's kind of like all there is.
Yeah.
But I got through just like the initial kind of tutorial, which is super basic. This is a button that makes your character jump, kind of thing. Here's how to do it.
Yeah.
And then it branches off into some of the more detailed game making tutorials, and I haven't
Yes.
done any of those yet, just because
Mm,
they seem like they're going to be, well, they don't seem like they tell you they're going to be lengthy.
hefty.
They do that thing in the game that Labo did that I really appreciated in Labo, where they tell you this section of the game is going to be 40 minutes. This
Yeah.
little tutorial that we're going to walk you through. And so I was just like, oh, well, when I have 40 spare minutes, I will do this. But
And they get
what
longer too.
oh,
So I've
well,
done
yeah.
the tag game. I did the tilt the system to collect
Tilt
apples
apple,
with a
collect
ball.
apple.
Yeah, and then there's a space shooting game as well that I
Okay.
made. So I've done 3 of those, and they get more and more complicated. Obviously, the tutorials actually kind of start to ease up a little bit. Like the first one, it's showing you exactly where to click.
Right.
The second one eases up a little bit more. Third one, it just the dialogue tells you go here, and you have to do it yourself. Like it
Okay.
doesn't highlight it anymore, and apparently it gets to the point where it doesn't even start doing that.
Hmm.
So, but it's good so far. Like I feel like I've got ideas in my head, like at each step of the way. Like when it's teaching me how to do a particular thing, like with the motion controls, or like with like scrolling the screen in the space shooter. It's like, oh, these are things that I might actually use to create a game. So it's interesting from that aspect.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm really curious to get through more tutorials, and my daughter has been playing this at the same time. She's farther ahead than I am.
Yeah.
So she's been I think done 2 more games than I have. So she's very close
okay.
to the end. And it'll be interesting to get to that point and start like making little games and trading them with her. She in fact like took the tag game and already like started modifying it,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, changing stuff up in it and making it a little bit different. So that's been fun to watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you see some of the stuff that people have been making already?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
the Doom Eternal
I didn't
first
see the
person.
Doom. I saw someone made a 3D Sonic game,
Oh, did they?
which I just if you look in our chat, not
Okay, private chat.
in our private chat, I just sent you
Cool.
a YouTube link. But yeah, someone made a shockingly decent looking 3D Sonic game.
Yeah.
with Game Builder. So I'm very interested to see what people start doing.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing is that Nintendo doesn't actually have a built-in way to like browse other people's games. You kind of have to
Yeah.
find them on social media. That's a little bit unfortunate, but
Hopefully that's something that can
hopefully
be fixed later.
hopefully they will create some kind of hub. I think there is like I saw some fan site basically is sort of trying to fill that void by at least providing a hub for people to put their code in.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. It seems like it's gonna be a robust game builder.
Yeah. That's pretty
So,
cute.
It is cute.
I'm excited to play more of it, but it had the unfortunate timing of being released right when Ratchet and Clank was coming out. So
I know.
All
Yeah.
sorry.
It's unfortunate.
Greg, I know you just got back.
I'm not sorry.
Well, you're gonna be. Look in our private
I saw.
chat. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I saw it
You
sitting there.
Yeah, you should
Saw
check
it.
it out. It's super cute.
Yeah.
Referring to the Sonic game.
All
Of
right,
course.
should we get to E3 stuff?
The Electronic Entertainment
Kind of expo.
Kind of digital expo? Yeah.
Yes.
So we're not going to cover
E2DE?
everything here
That
because
seems weird.
there's a lot of
This is the one- this is-
games.
You
This
can
is the
listen to
one
better
stop-
podcasts who'll cover everything.
We are where people come to. I mean, I don't even think anyone's actually watching the conferences live. They're just
They're
waiting
just
to
going
see.
off of our summary.
We've really
Yeah.
missed out on that though. We really need to start doing the whole talk over the conference live thing
Yeah.
That's where the real money's made
apparently.
for our hot
Okay.
takes.
Like
Yes.
an MST 3K. We
Mhm.
have like little silhouettes down at the
We should
bottom
do
and
that.
everything. Yeah,
We should.
CJ,
We
get on
should.
that. Figure that out.
I'll figure it out.
Set that up
Yeah,
for Nintendo
next
this week.
there you go.
No.
Next year, someone else will take the idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they already have. All right, so we could talk at a high level though about Microsoft's presentation that happened today as we're recording this on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was pretty impressed. And here, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm impressed by everything coming to Game Pass. And they showed 30 games and 27 of them are coming to Game Pass.
That's a lot of Game Pass games.
I mean, if you have an Xbox, you probably should get Game Pass Ultimate. I mean,
Yeah, really.
just to try some of this stuff. And a lot of the games is like, oh, I probably wouldn't buy that, but I definitely check that out. Like,
There's a fair amount of those games that showed up on there that I said I probably would buy that, but I'm not going to.
But now I don't have to.
But I don't have to.
But yeah, it's great. It's and I will say too, I mean, I haven't watched any of the other conferences just because I haven't found the time to do it yet. But I love the format of this, where it's just like you see, the standard like Betty Ross and
Bonnie Ross.
Bonnie Ross, Betty Ross. Where the hell did that come from? Anyway, you got the standard, people coming out and introducing a couple things, but it's like it was mostly wall-to-wall trailers. What's that?
Isn't Betty Ross the Incredible Hulk's girlfriend?
I don't think so. Is it Betty? We've completely derailed.
Anyway, Bonnie Ross.
Bonnie Ross.
Joseph's
anyway,
yeah,
you know what I was saying. You know what I'm saying. Okay, you know what I was saying. So, and then it's just wall-to-wall trailers, and it's great. And the thing that I really liked about this, outside of the Game Pass thing, is like since the two systems came out, I barely play my Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Sea of Thieves. We all know you play Sea of Thieves, but
no,
like,
I don't load up the PlayStation 5 that much.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I play my PlayStation 5 a lot. I barely play my Xbox, but the thing that I really like is that they're showing stuff that from all these studios they own starting to come out that look like Xbox Series X games.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited.
Yes,
there's stuff there that I want to play on that system.
By the way, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Thank you. Finally.
Oh my goodness.
Soon here.
Very excited about Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I'm curious to see how the controller, because when I tried it on PC, the controller support was not like amazing. You pretty much had to also have a mouse and keyboard with you to play it. I'm just curious to see how.
Well, that's how real airplanes work too. They have the mouse.
I want to use a gamepad to drive cars and fly planes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you can steer a pirate ship with a controller. Why can't you fly a plane?
Does the system possibly support like flight sticks, like Logitech flight sticks? I haven't checked to see if that does.
I think it does. And the Series X, it supports
the throttle and
for a lot of things too.
Things like that.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going to end up happening is you'll have that sort of setup where you have free look, so that your controller basically acts as a mouse, and then you can just lock it in otherwise, and then you're controlling the flight path of the plane that way. You know what I mean? That's probably how it'll work, which is fine. I mean, to deal with a lot of the controls, from what I've watched from streamers, because I've never ever gotten that game to run on my computer. If you're on like long haul flights, that's when you're messing more with the controls in the cockpit. So, if you're not paying attention to exactly where the plane's going on autopilot, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm super excited that's finally coming. That's one of the things that I really wanted to play on the Series X. So
same.
And they spent a lot
of time. It's really close, right?
Yeah, it's like July.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
it's very close. They spent a lot of time with Forza Horizon 5.
That looks gorgeous. Oh my God. I was amazed and I'm like, I bounced off 4 so fast.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this and I'm completely 100% back in. Like this just looks amazing. Although I got to say that like they totally did that thing that I think everyone was starting to get tired of a few years back, where it's like, here's a group of players, and they happen to be developers for a totally casual gameplay session. And it's like you've got the forced casual talk where it's like, hey, over here,
of
go
course.
right now, stuff like that. It's just totally, you know. But on top of that, and of course they did because it's a presentation, but every single clip is so painfully choreographed in that presentation. There's so many near misses and so many cars just passing in front of you at the right time, and no one's hitting anybody. It's like, okay, that's not how this is going to be in real life. But
watching that, I really thought, okay, if this was me, I would have like ping ponged off of all of those walls.
But I mean,
realistic.
The variation in the locales,
that
is
looked great,
very impressive, and it just looks really pretty.
The little like arcade games seemed cool. They showed off that sort of pinata smash and dash thing, which was interesting.
I'll never play that, but yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and then that one had a release date in November, right?
Yep. And then they teased that Forza Motorsport, whatever number we're on, is coming next year, I think, as well.
Oh, really?
8, maybe.
So the biggest, most exciting announcement for me during Microsoft was, of course, Sea of Thieves.
Halo?
A Pirate's Life.
Boy, let me tell you.
Season 3 of Sea of Thieves.
I think we're going to hear something about, hang on, let me guess.
Yeah.
The Jack Sparrow sound alike.
All I know is
Jack Sparrow sound alike.
Let's. I didn't even watch the trailer for this because
you didn't. Okay.
No, but
if you had, that's what we'd be talking about.
If you want to make Sea of Thieves less interesting to me, it's like, hey,
add Johnny Depp.
How about some Sea of Thieves?
Well, to be fair, they didn't add Johnny Depp.
No, they didn't. They added a sound alike.
But yeah, boy,
I haven't seen. I don't even know if I've seen multiple Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I've seen the first one.
I know should have stopped at the first one.
I saw the first 2. They're not good.
They get progressively worse.
Yeah.
Then that's okay.
The first one was fun, but his shtick as Jack Sparrow was done after that. Right. After that, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay. I couldn't tell you what happened in the following movies.
Yeah. I mean, I care less about the Pirates of the Caribbean Johnny Depp stuff as I do about some of the things that they showed in this trailer, which was like a huge ship, which is like the Man of War, which is not currently in Sea of Thieves, like a very
Davy Jones' ship, right?
NPC ship, yeah. And they showed new enemies that can actually board your ship, which is completely new. Underwater enemies coming to the game as well. Like instead of just sharks, you're going to have greater mermaid threats there. So mermaid like that threats. Stuff. What's that?
Mermaid threats?
Yeah. So the mermaids in the game now, as they are now, they just act as a transporter back to your ship.
Okay.
And the only enemy in the water really are sharks.
Now they're
adding mermaids that attack you.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
So
weren't those in the movies at one point? Wasn't it? I think most of those enemies they've announced are in some form from the movies. I think
they may have.
If this was some sort of Splash crossover, then I'd be more interested.
Splash crossover.
Yeah.
Wow.
That license is too expensive.
But anyway,
also
very
Disney,
interesting
though,
stuff.
right?
And then it's going to have a story-related campaign with like 5 different story quests. So those are called Tall Tales and Sea of Thieves, and they already have like 10 plus.
Okay. When I asked that,
another 5.
I asked that in our chat, and I kind of thought that's what it was going to be, was like Tall Tales type things, but I wasn't sure. But some of the stuff they were showing, because I mean, it looked like, and I don't know if these were mostly cinematics, but it looked like there was a lot more going on in like some towns and like out of the water. Yeah, those are all cinematics though. See, every time I see them do something like that, I'm reminded of how much I wish there was a single player campaign, like a traditional campaign mode in this game. I would love to play like a 10 to 15 hour campaign in that world, because I really, but
you don't get camera
massively multiplayer. Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. Like I want something, more traditional, using that tech, that engine, those graphics. I like the way it looks, and I'm not normally a fan of Rare's game, the way Rare's games look, but I do
Yeah.
like how this looks.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, especially because it comes out in 9 days, and they had teased none of that stuff previously.
I'll
Complete
definitely come on and
surprise.
play the tall tales with you guys if you need a
Yeah,
crew member to just stand at the front of the ship and do nothing.
Definitely.
I'm your guy.
Yeah.
That sounds like a resounding yes to me.
Our boss is not White Tiger. Glance.
Wow.
What do you guys think of the Halo Infinite? So
Kind of made
They
me
showed-
excited for Halo again.
they showed a little bit of a cutscene where he's putting a different AI, not Cortana, into his helmet, and that was
Yes.
like, okay, fine. Then they
Is she
showed a bunch of
new?
multiplayer stuff.
Or was she in a
I
previous?
don't know the lore of Halo at
That
all.
was, to me, that was the big thing I got out of the beginning of that trailer. Like, I liked the way it looked, but at the same time, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, is this like just something they've created for this game, or is she part of the lore? I am so completely unplugged from Halo at this point that
Yeah, me too.
I haven't got a clue
Me too. But
what's
it
going
looked,
on.
It looked like Halo. It sure did.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
Everything in that, and the multiplayer trailer I thought looked really good as well. I'll play a little bit of it. I mean, I'm not a hardcore first-person shooter player anyway, so like
Last time I was in the
Halo
Halo
is
multiplayer was
probably-
Halo 1.
I know, and that was super fun. But I think it, I played it back then because we were playing with people we knew and worked with and friends, and I
We got to make
just
Crispin go
don't
crazy.
think- yeah, we got to make Crispin go crazy. I don't think I'll have that same feeling with this. I'll play it, of course. It's free to play, so why not give it a shot? But yeah,
But no, I'm excited to play another Halo game.
Mhm.
Not as excited as I once was. I used to be, right up until Halo 3, I really anticipated those games, and I really liked ODST, and I really
Yeah.
liked Fall of Reach. Or is it just
Yeah.
Reach? Fall of Reach, I
Just
think was the
Reach.
name of the book. I liked those two games a lot, but then I kind of checked out. Halo
Mhm.
3 didn't do much for me, and yeah.
I love the gameplay of those games. Like it's one of the few first-person shooter series that I can actually play and not get motion sickness from. So I'm very thankful for that. So I'll play the campaign.
Yeah,
Forward to
same
that.
here. On easy.
On easy, yeah. I loved the Outer Worlds 2 teaser, and that's all it was, a teaser. But the
Yeah.
announcer is saying that, like, describing how video game trailers do their
Yeah.
whole thing,
Pretty
whole
great.
shtick. I thought
Oh,
that was
yeah, yeah.
fantastic. And the Outer Worlds is a fun game. I'm looking forward to seeing what
I
they.
never played Outer Worlds. It's pretty good.
It is, yeah.
I thought you played a bit of it. Didn't we all talk about it once on
I
the show?
Don't
Okay.
believe
I know I played a
did.
bit.
I played it a bit as well.
You are
It's on
leaning
Game
away from your
Pass.
microphone and very hard to hear, just so you know.
Who,
Me?
No, Phil.
Me.
Phil. Okay.
Me.
Yeah, when you're over here, the microphone's not picking you up very well.
Well, okay
There-
then.
there you go.
Here I am.
Yeah. Did you guys see?
Yep.
We can jumping around here a little bit on the
Like House of
outline.
Pain?
Exactly. But so Square Enix during their conference, they did a teaser for Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which
What's that?
so they're redoing Final Fantasies 1 through 6,
Yes.
for mobile.
but
Oh,
it's for mobile and Steam, and I was like, oh no! Like,
it's
God,
going to be
yeah.
those terrible
Uh,
smooth sprites with
No, like they should. And the other problem with the trailer is the screens that they showed were so tiny. You had to like full screen the trailer to even like get a glimpse of, okay, which Final Fantasy is that, and does it look good? I don't know. I can't tell. But apparently they're doing pixel remakes of the Final Fantasy games
As long
for
as they don't-
mobile and Steam. Why not?
as
for
long as
Switch?
they
I mean,
don't
come on.
resemble like those Dragon Quest mobile remakes they did,
oh yeah.
because those were
I don't
horrifically
trust
ugly.
them anymore, really, though.
I don't either.
I don't trust them to do it the right
But
way.
see, the Dragon Quest 3 remake that they announced a while back
yeah,
gave me hope. Because I was like,
gave me hope
oh,
as well.
they do still talk about stuff that came out before 1997.
Right.
And they're actually treating it with respect. And that's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then I wanted to jump over to Euden Chronicle, which was shown during Microsoft's conference. Now, this is the game that
looks
kind of looked
pretty.
like Project Octopath Traveler.
Looks like
Oh,
Suikoden.
Those look
Well,
nice.
it's the kickstarted game from the Suikoden guy.
Oh, I
it's that
didn't
one.
realize
Oh,
it. But
yes.
see, I didn't know that at all. And I remember seeing that the first thing I thought of when the trailer started was like, this really has a Suikoden vibe to it.
It does.
Hmm.
And for good reason, because it's from the same,
Well,
the
then
same
I
guy.
will watch that.
So yeah, apparently two games they showed. They showed like one coming in 2022 and then another in 2023, both to Game Pass. So that's pretty excellent. But I love the pixel work on the characters, and the environments themselves kind of had that Octopath Traveler look.
Oh, big
but
time.
not pixel as much. Like they did have some realistic elements in them as well, which is kind of cool. We got a sequel for A Plague Tale.
That I was excited about. I was not expecting it.
I figured they were going to do a sequel to that at some point because the first one did fairly well, I think, or at least it was received very well.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that it had sort of a subtitle made you think like they're leaving it. It makes it sound like it should be part of a series.
Right.
But still, I wasn't expecting one just because it was such sort of it felt like sort of like an art house game. You know what I mean? And it felt kind of very personal. So I didn't know if it would, and I didn't really know how it did exactly.
It did, but it had that Naughty Dog narrative feel to it as well, which I really appreciated during the time when we were still waiting for The Last of Us Part 2. And this one looks like they've got more budget to work with.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to do a high budget version of A Plague Tale. This could be really good. And I mean, it looks awesome in the sort of last shot. You know, A Plague Tale is a very sort of oppressive look to it, very like gray and dank environments. And then like the main character's brother, who you're trying to protect throughout the whole game, they show him in like this very green, very lush environment by the sea. And it's like, oh, like what's going to happen here? Like, is this going to be where we're playing this game? Like very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, super excited. And it's coming out, but it's not coming out till next year, unfortunately.
Not till next year.
But either way, like I was, when the trailer first came on, you sort of see the wave of rats coming around the corners, like, this is Plague Tale. This looks like Plague Tale. Oh my god! So
and it is.
Yeah, very excited about that. I loved that game.
Also caught my eye during Microsoft's thing. Somerville. This was an indie game. Or is an indie game from a developer called Jumpstart, I think. But anyway, it gave me like very Playdead Labs vibes, where it's like Inside or Limbo. And it turns out that that company is formed by ex-Playdead personnel. So
there you go.
Surprise there. But it looks like you're controlling an entire like family as well, like not just one character going through these environments. So I thought
so is this the one where it's like it's like the father, mother, and they got the little kid?
Yeah. They're all like
kid and the
kinda-
dog.
Yeah, this looked really good.
In front of the TV.
Yeah.
And then you see them in different environments kind of going through, I assume solving puzzles, both platforming and otherwise, and running from things. A lot of running from things.
A lot of running from things, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole scene where they were running down this corridor and there was some kind of soldier shooting back at something.
Yes.
Who was retreating the whole time.
And the soldier could kind of warp down the hall.
Like, I don't know if he's doing... Yeah, he was. That's right. He had some kind of tech that he was doing
just
that.
running, and then the soldier, there was some sort of like electrical kind of zoom, and zaps himself down the hall.
The trailer ended where they were all sleeping on the couch and something was moving around in the kitchen, and there's a little shadow there. The little one woke up and saw it. It looks really cool. I definitely want to...
I don't
definitely want to check that out.
I don't think I noticed that.
The very end of the trailer, the little guy wakes up, and if you're watching in the light in the kitchen, you can hear something moving, and you watch in the kitchen. There's just a little shadow moving around.
Oh, interesting.
It's his deadbeat uncle in there making a sandwich at 3 a.m.
Uncle Joe from the basement.
I looked up some more information on this game, and the first teaser trailer was shown in 2017. They did another teaser trailer in 2018, and then the game there's nothing until now. So very interesting. Obviously, they've been working on it for quite a long time. Curious to see more, but anyway, was very excited about that. We also saw more of Psychonauts 2 at Microsoft. This game looks pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I'm glad we
it
don't have
does.
to wait long.
Yeah.
It's coming out at the end of August.
It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's nice to see these Microsoft studios starting to release things.
Yes.
It feels like it's a year later than it needed to be, but still.
That's a
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play
let's
this.
let's jump over to Square again. Talk about Guardians of the
Phoenix.
Galaxy.
Yeah, so what's this?
which-
I didn't see this. So
So it is well, go ahead, CJ.
It's a single player story driven game
Yes.
with Guardians of the Galaxy as the base, and it's kind of like an action RPG. It looks like
Yeah.
Hmm.
It
nobody resembling the film characters.
it's got that same problem.
it's got that
Avengers
off-brand
has. Yeah.
MCU look to it.
And it's
Kinda
weird too, because
does.
it's like, okay, like Groot's in there and he's adult Groot. And
Yeah.
it's Groot. Groot's kind of always gonna look like Groot. Just
Yeah,
just
same
by
with
his
Rocket.
nature, but he's
Constantly going on about family and fast cars, or
exactly. And how he does not want to be a gun.
Yeah.
Iron Giant.
it's pretty good.
And
good.
Diesel is
Deep cut.
the Iron Giant as well. But he looks buffer. He looks like
Did look buffer.
he's been tree working out. Rocket looks
Pumping.
pretty much like Rocket, but they gave him a little obnoxious beard because
Yeah. Because you have to
I guess-
differentiate it somehow.
Yeah. It's like we're gonna make a little
So in the chat here,
raccoon. Hmm?
sorry, in the chat,
Yeah.
Mr. Coffee, Mr. Radar just said that he got confirmation that the pre-order OG skins for Guardians can be unlocked.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not the film.
No.
Oh,
Those
sorry.
are just like the old
Oh, like comic book.
school- the
Comic
old
book,
school
yeah.
comic. Yeah, well,
That'd
and
be cool.
the outfits they're wearing, like Gamora and Drax, look more like their comic book
Yeah.
incarnations than they do like Avatar and
I thought it looked pretty good though. Like I was
Wrestler.
pretty pleased with what I saw from this trailer. Of course, I'm
Well,
not a comic book
I mean,
fan.
you know what? It looks. I think it looks fine for the most part. Star-Lord looks terrible though.
See, I think like
agree.
Yeah,
He looks terrible.
like I
especially
can
the
live with,
haircut.
Like I can live with Gamora looking more comic booky. That's fine. Drax looks more like his comic book version.
Yeah.
That's great. Star-Lord.
How can we make this not look like Chris Pratt?
I mean,
Here, let's
yeah,
give him
they're-
a really annoying haircut.
They're working a little too hard to make him not look like Chris Pratt.
But I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to go watch this trailer because I know with Avengers, the whole off-brand Marvel characters bothered me. But the more I played it, the more I wondered if it was that I couldn't get over, or the fact that the characters just don't look good.
Right.
Like they just didn't look good.
I mean,
It didn't matter that they didn't look like the actors.
There's a way they could have done this, and I think the problem was, and this the problem with the Avengers too was that they're trying to evoke the look of a live action
Without getting in
Film?
trouble for the likeness.
but without like you look at like what was it Marvel Ultimate Alliance on Switch, and all those characters they look much closer to their comic book appearance. They don't look anything like the MCU, but they look.
That's the thing, right?
They look good.
They're comic book characters. Make them
Right.
look like comic
Well,
book characters.
Ultimate Alliance isn't trying to be realistic looking either,
That's true.
whereas
That's
this
true,
is
but
trying
I
to be
mean,
realistic looking.
They,
Yeah.
this Avengers and Guardians to a lesser degree, but still
Yeah.
to a degree, seems like they started with the MCU as their base, and someone at Square Enix said, let's see how close we can make our characters look to this without
Mhm.
us having to pay money
Mhm.
Right.
to the
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't start from that. Just let, you have very talented artists working there. Let the artists
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
If you can't use the
start
likeness, go
scratch.
stylized.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I think Peter Quill looks fine with the mask on, like the little mask thing on. He looks fine. Then he takes that off and he looks like a douche. Like, just get off my screen. Just like, no.
Well, I mean,
to
somebody on the
be
chat just said he
fair-
looks like Jake Paul, so that kind of tracks. But
To be fair, isn't that kind of Star-Lord's character though?
I was going to say, yeah,
No.
that does sound kind of in character.
But he does look really obnoxious.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to play a game as that guy, but
No.
you know what though, I might still play this. I mean,
Yeah, I might play it.
I was super excited for the Avengers game until I found out it was going to be a live service
Service game.
thing.
Yeah.
And what I wanted from Avengers is what we're getting now with Guardians. So
I'm more curious about the gameplay because it seems like you mainly play as Star-Lord and you can command the others to do things. I'm
that's what it
just
sounds
curious on how that'll
Still better than
play
Avengers.
out.
which seems weird though, just because you'd think they'd have you bouncing around between the characters.
It's sad in a way because that fits Guardians, right? I mean, where they're a team.
Right.
But boy, that's one of the things of all the games that we haven't talked about. Just like last year, oh my God, the team-based shooters.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Well, which ones are you
Please.
talking about? Back for
There's
Blood?
just so many of them. So many of them.
There are a lot.
Although I will say that one from Bethesda, Arcane Studios.
Right.
At least the premise looked interesting. The
It did.
vampire hunters,
Everything.
Yeah.
and the characters looked interesting.
Hmm.
But it's still a team-based shooter.
Yeah.
It's like,
I wonder how upset the Square Enix marketing team was earlier this week when Netflix put out the trailer for the new He-Man cartoon that had the "We Need a Hero" song in the background.
Oh,
I Need a
because-
Hero.
was in there.
Because that was the
Hey, Phil,
same song
Phil,
they used for
Phil,
the Guardians
The
trailer.
song they used is "I Need a
I Need a
Hero."
Hero.
The song you're thinking of is "We Don't Need Another Hero."
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
Come on, get it right.
Yes,
Don't mix up Tina Turner and Bonnie Tyler.
that's right.
So-
No, I was thinking. Yeah,
No, I know.
I'm thinking Short Circuit 2 was the Short Circuit 2 is the song.
Well, I mean,
that
that's
they
where the
used.
song's known from.
Not
Right.
yes, but yeah, the He-Man trailer used.
Oh,
I Need
did
a
Guardians use the same?
Yeah, the Guardians trailer uses.
What are
I
the
Need a Hero.
odds?
I know.
What are the odds of like this
How
40-year-old
weird
Bonnie Tyler song?
I know. Someone.
Well, the other thing I'm curious about, so Square Enix posted like a 10-minute gameplay thing, and there is a point where Star-Lord takes out the Walkman and presses play, and a song plays.
Okay,
I'm curious though, like, so how many different songs are going to be in that playlist? Like, what is, if you're
you know
doing
what?
like a
If they actually will play
20-hour
old Peter Quill era songs, there, I'll play it.
it seemed like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That was one of the things I loved about those movies, mostly because those are all the songs I remember my dad making us listen to on road trips when we were in the car with him.
Right.
So many, like the playlist in those movies was literally my dad's playlist when I was a kid.
Yeah, so,
He loved all the music that was in those movies. So like I remember taking my kids, especially to the second film, and when it starts off with Brandy playing, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was so excited. It's because that was one of the songs that when we went on road trips, my dad's endless tape collection, Brandy was a song we heard over and over and over again.
There you go.
That's amazing.
See? Now, was your dad a better dad than Peter Quill's dad?
I like to think so.
Good.
There you go. So let's talk about Evil Dead, the game, briefly, because I'm very excited about this.
You think you're excited?
Oh, here it is.
I'm gonna make millions.
Saber Interactive.
I'm working on the game now, coding every single sprite and level.
doing
Get
an
ready.
Evil Dead game. It looks a whole lot like the Friday the 13th game.
Boy,
And,
it looks like they just made an ash skin for the Friday the 13th
it's
game.
like they looked at the game design of a couple different things and combined them into one. So it's partly Friday the 13th, it's partly Hunt Showdown, and it's partly Dead by Daylight. So yeah, it looks like you can play as a team co-op, or you can do like a versus sort of thing. A person can actually play as the evil side, and it looks like they can control different things. So you're not just one character in the world. You can kind of transfer to, or you can possess deadites, or you can haunt a cabin, like make the furniture rattle around and stuff. And it looks fun. It looks really fun from that aspect. And then the other players, the sort of survivors, have to like collect different clues around the map and then actually like do some kind of ritual to banish the evil,
The Deadites.
which is great, which is fantastic, which I think is a lot of fun. So if they have that sort of multiple ways to victory thing, I'm totally down with that. It looks great to me. I'm in day one, and one of the systems it's announced for is the Switch, so I'm very interested in that as well. But looks like it's gonna be on
I think
everything.
it'll have crossplay.
I hope so. But it looked great. I'm very impressed by that.
It looks really cool. It's not something I'm going to play.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
I want
Because it's
to.
multiplayer only. It's one of those sort of no story multiplayer only co-op.
I'll just go back to
shooters.
Fistful of Boomstick and
Yeah.
Hail to the King.
That's right. Which one was
There you
what was the first one? Was the first one Hail to the King, or
I don't remember.
yeah?
There
I
have
don't
been
either.
several video game tries at Evil Dead.
Yeah.
in the
I think there was just
last
those two,
20
wasn't there?
years.
I think so.
And they were
They
both
made a mobile game as
PS2
well.
games. That doesn't count.
One was Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
PS. There's PS1. Wasn't
it
it?
Oh, that was PS2.
Oh, was okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Well,
I
anyway,
believe one of them had Ted Raimi in it, though. I think the second
Nice.
one had Ted Raimi as like he was like a little sidekick character or something.
well, I did not watch the Ubisoft conference, but I did watch the trailer for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I
Is
guess
Ted Raimi in that one too?
leaked out
It's always
a
nice
little bit
to see
early.
my brother getting work.
Nintendo put up a eShop page for this like before the Ubisoft conference.
Yeah.
And so that was leaked, but I think everybody knew this was a possibility, right? But it looks like
First
more
one seemed
Mario
to do
plus
well.
Rabbids.
Did you guys play Mario Rabbids?
I did.
I played it for
quite a
about
bit.
I played a chunk of it. I never finished it.
I never finished it, but I
I'm
liked
in the
it.
same boat as Greg. It seemed quite good. You know, those kind of strategy games, I appreciate them, but I can't
I
get into
do not
them.
like the rabbits.
But that's
I don't
my
like the
problem.
Rabbids either.
I just do not like the rabbit characters.
I'm down for a Mario strategy game. Sure, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would, and the game was good, but it wasn't good enough to hold my interest, and it also had to make me forget that I don't like the rabbits.
Yeah.
And it just didn't.
I do like the overblown sci-fi trailer.
Yeah,
Where it's like
Mario in a spaceship.
in space, and yeah, it's just like that's ridiculous enough that I kind of love it, but I don't want to have to deal with the rabbits. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I'm not a fan of the Rabbids either.
So,
all right. Well, I think I'm done with my list here. Anybody else want to take some of the games that you guys put on our outline?
CJ's busy highlighting his stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
I highlighted the things we already talked about.
I was just gonna briefly mention a couple VR games that I took note of that I saw trailers for. Because it seems like, am I just missing this, or does just nobody care about VR anymore?
I think there's not nearly as much money in VR anymore. Like I think a lot of the investors have disappeared.
Yeah.
So
Phil,
you don't
did you
hear
miss
as much about them.
The other week when Sony did like a day of VR announcements, so one of the games that's on your list here was part of that.
Presumably I did.
Okay,
So,
Puzzle Bobble 3D
Puzzle-
Vacation
Puzzle-
Odyssey was in there.
that I did
That
not
actually looks kind of
expect
fun.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it could be interesting. I'm worried because it's Puzzle Bobble / Bust a Move, but
with an extra
VR.
dimension.
Yes, I'm a little worried that it's gonna fall into the same trap that like Weltris fell into, where it's like, oh, we're
Weltris.
taking
But not
Oh.
Wordress or Hattress?
well, no, because this is
3D. No,
This
I
is
get it.
taking a 2-dimensional puzzle game and adding a Z-axis and
Tetrisphere?
well,
That was
on a-
3D.
that was on a sphere though. This is
But it
this
was
is more
a
like,
sphere is a 3D object.
but these are spheres arranged in like cubes.
Cubes.
So I'm a little worried that it's going to fall into a trap like that, where Weltris seems like a cute and clever idea, but in practice it wasn't terribly fun. So it's going to be weird though, having all those balls in your face. But at least,
Yeah, but you're used to
It's
it.
like the good old days.
well, if I'm gonna have a bunch of balls in my face, I want to have a couple
Different
cute
colors?
dinosaurs there,
Oh, sorry.
cheering me on.
Different colors, but
Yeah.
mostly blue.
Not when I'm around, CJ. Not when I'm around.
Phil finishes every level.
Sometimes I need the little guide to show me which angle to go from.
Uh-huh.
What?
Did you ever play Bust a Move?
No,
you
actually,
get
I
the
never
little-
have.
Wait, are you serious? You've never played
Didn't interest
Puzzle
me.
Bobble?
The only puzzle games I care about are Tetris.
Oh my goodness, you should absolutely try Puzzle Bobble.
Wow.
And I like
sometime. It is-
Baku Baku, but
Baku Baku. Baku Baku was cute. You should absolutely try some Puzzle Bobble. It is a genuinely good puzzle game.
I'm going to try it in 3D.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Well, don't try it in 3D. Try it for reals first. You know?
Okay.
Who knows? 3D one. The 3D one may not be any good. You know?
It's fair.
So
Maybe not.
I'm just saying. And then I saw the Salmon Max VR game. They're you know, which we've known about, but they showed a little more. I don't know.
You don't
I
know?
don't know.
Really?
What don't you know about it?
I don't know.
What's throwing
Well,
you off?
Salmon Max. I love Salmon Max. Love the
That's
old
why I'm surprised
comics.
at your reaction.
I love the old LucasArts game. You know, one of my favorite old PC games. Salmon Max Hit the Road. The Telltale games were okay. They were pretty okay. Steve Purcell's, who's the creator of Salmon Max, his art style doesn't translate
to 3D
very well. So
I agree
Telltale
with that.
games were ugly. This game looks ugly for the same reason. From what they showed of this game, it only kind of tangentially feels like a Salmon Max game. I mean, the clip I saw was just, hey, we're putting you into an escape room and you have to use your VR hands to manipulate objects in the room to find a way out of the room. And they're really, you had Sam and Max who were off screen, like commenting, you know, as you pick up an object, they'd say something like, oh, that's that, you know, and they'd make a little joke or something. But it just, it didn't really feel like a Sam and Max game. It was just like, we made a little VR escape room game and we have them doing voiceover.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the whole game. I don't know if that's just a
It was actually started life as a Rabbids game.
Well, there you go. See?
But then they got the Sam and Max license.
They were like, that's far more lucrative than the rabbits.
Yeah.
Apparently. But so I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna play it. I'm just the trailer left me cold between being not terribly pretty to look at and kind of I don't want to say half-assed in its execution, but
you're gonna.
But it felt kind of like that. So
Okay.
we'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised, but I don't know.
Possible.
You know what I found out though?
What's that?
I was digging through. I was going through some of my crap in my storage unit, and I found some old Sam and Max figures that I had bought like 10 plus years ago. And I was like, oh man, I wonder what these are worth, because I hadn't opened them or anything like that. Here they are. Look at this. Look at this. There they are. They're right there. These are like Mighty Mugs, kind of those vinyl figures. But I got looking up to see what these were worth, and there's $100 maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
But I also found out that here it is, my hardcover collection
Oh, I have that.
of the Sam. Do you?
I think so.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah, it's on my bookshelf.
Please take good care of it. This is about $600.
Take good care of it by selling it.
This is the when the games came out from Telltale. Telltale got the
remember
rights
buying
to
it.
publish a collection of the books or of the comics, and the hardcover copy of it has been out of print, of course, for years. And no other company has reprinted the Sam and Max comics since then, and copies of that are
Daddy's
going
gonna
on
make
eBay
some money.
for like,
There you go.
for
$600 American dollars. That's like $2,000 here.
this is like a Unicron. That's what this is. This book is worth
Dang.
1 Unicron. Anyway,
Okay. Well, there are
That's-
only a few more titles here on our list. Can we blow through
yeah,
these?
let's here, Greg, talk about the ones you put on though.
Yeah, so the ones I put on here is mostly because we were covering mostly Microsoft, and I haven't seen the Square Enix or Ubisoft conferences yet, and I haven't really looked at any of that stuff. But
this is the action puzzle game with a unique art style section.
yeah, pretty much. No, but there's just a couple of these that I was looking at from Day of the Devs and Summer of Games or whatever those things were called that sort of stood out, and a lot of them just stood out mostly for the art style, to be honest. But the one of the ones that really stood out to me was Endling,
Yeah.
where you play as a fox
Yes.
with cubs, and one of your cubs is taken, and it's like post-apocalyptic world where I think the whole idea is that man has finally just destroyed the natural world.
Let me interrupt you real quick, Greg,
Mhm.
because I have a beef with this game, and I have a beef
Okay.
with the intro, because it
Okay.
starts off and you have the narrator sort of setting up the premise. And it's like,
hmm
the world has been ravaged, and you are the last fox on Earth.
Except for
But
the
you
3
have to
cubs you
take
have.
care of your cubs, and they've been. And it's just you're
Well,
not
maybe
the last. Fox, are
maybe
ya?
it was Immaculate Conception. Maybe they're all Anakin.
But if it was Immaculate Conception, there are still other foxes.
Was it just me, or did it sound like whoever was narrating that was trying to channel an Attenborough? That's the first thing I thought. But
Wow.
anyway,
Yeah.
it's an interesting premise, and like I said, I think the whole idea is that that the humans have finally sort of destroyed the natural world, and you're a fox who has 3 cubs, and one of your cubs is taken, is stolen. So the whole idea is that you have to go out into the world and find your cub, and man is the biggest danger out there, but you also have 2 other cubs that come with you. And I'm using the word cub. I have no idea if baby foxes are called cubs. I think they are. Your 2 other cubs come with you, so you actually have to take care of them at the same time.
Right.
And I believe that they actually learn skills during the game as well. And I think you venture out like every day or something like that. It looks really interesting, and it's sort of like it's a fully 3D game, but you only move on a 2D plane.
You know what it gave me vibes of? Never Alone.
Don't
that the
remember if I
game?
ever played that.
Never Alone. That is the
Yes,
game where
well.
you are. Yeah, I
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
That's yes.
'cause
I
it's
totally see that.
that same kind of like very nature driven.
Mhm.
There's you were a human in that game, but you had your little animal wolf. Was it a
There you
wolf
go.
Cub, maybe?
Baby
Yeah.
foxes are called kits. Sorry,
Baby
not
foxes are
cubs.
kits.
Kits.
I believe the trailer calls them cubs, though, right?
I believe the trailer does call them cubs. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I'm using that. But
So not only do they not know what baby foxes are called, but
They
they
don't know
also
how they're
don't
made.
realize that if there are multiple foxes on the planet, one of them can't be the last one because there are multiples.
That's right. Anyway, it looks really interesting. I really dug what I was seeing. It actually reminded me a lot of oh crap. Never mind. I'm not going to say it because I can't remember the name of it.
Psycho Fox?
Yeah. Psycho Fox. Jesus.
So it's,
Decap Attack. Reminded me of Decap Attack.
but this one has a fox. So
But with a fox.
yeah.
They should have done that. Decap Attack with a fox. Why didn't they do that?
Decap Attack wasn't a Psycho Fox game at some point, right?
They were the
No.
exact same game.
What? Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew. I know Decap Attack is like 12 different games, but one
Yeah.
of them is Psycho Fox. Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that really interested me. There was another one that that was shown called Vocabulantis.
It reminds me of
Which-
that Fox Hunt game from Capcom.
Wow.
FMV.
There's a game you don't hear talked about very often.
I think it's going to be a pre-order bonus with
3
handling.
discs.
That was a big box PS1 game, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was. Wasn't
Like
the
discs.
jewel case big box, but it was the cardboard big box.
I don't remember.
Pretty sure. Anyway, moving on because CJ's starting to get angry. Vocabulantis looked interesting to me because it's stop motion. It's all done with
Yes.
stop motion, and that alone makes it look very cool. But it's also post-apocalyptic, has an interesting art style, puzzle platformer. They're all the same. I'm okay with that. I'm sure it won't be like 80 hours long. It'll be something easy to play. So
It looked really cool though.
and I love with the trailer that they went through how they did it. Like it's not. It's
Yeah.
interesting because there was another one that I didn't put on this list, but also looks really interesting to me, where it's a stop motion game where they actually built all the sets.
Mhm.
I think you're living in a submarine or something like that, and they built all the sets. But the way they did stop motion there is that they created the puppets and then they scanned them in 3D and created 3D models and then used motion capture,
Oh, okay.
which is interesting.
Right.
But with Vocabulantis, they animated the characters and shot them, I think, 6 times under different lighting conditions,
yeah.
Huh.
so that they can actually have light play off them in the
Yeah,
game.
So,
It looks really cool.
yeah, so it's not like they're not relying on like an in-game engine to alter the light on the models. It's
Yeah.
actual physical light
Yeah.
bouncing off of them that the game recognizes. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
in a shadow now, so we're going to switch to using the shadow, the pictures that we took in shadow and stuff like that. Which is
Yeah.
super.
So
cool.
I thought that was fantastic. And then the last two I have on here are basically for the same reason. So I'm going to say this completely wrong. Despelote, I think is how it's said.
That's right. Yeah.
And I believe it's from at least one of the developers is from Ecuador. And I don't even really know what the game is so much, but the way that they described it sounded really interesting. You're just an Ecuadorian, I think is the way you say that, kid in school, and it's set in whatever year that Ecuador was going to possibly qualify for the World Cup. And it's all about soccer.
Yeah.
But all they really show in the trailer is
or
you leaving you leaving school, and all you want to go is go to the park and kick the ball around, and that's really all you ever see them do in the trailer.
yeah.
But there were 2 things that really struck me about it. One is the visual style, which if you haven't seen this trailer, go look at it. It's got this really fantastic, interesting visual style that I've never seen anything like before. The closest I can think is maybe the Return of the Obra Dinn. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit, where it feels like a 3D world that was built off photographs, which is what they said it was, but then it's all laid over with like almost a particle system or something.
Yeah.
Looks like Tom Goes to the Mayor.
What? I don't
It's
know
like
what
Tom
that
Goes
is.
You're
the
not
Mayor.
going to get that.
No, I don't get that.
It's an Adult Swim show. It's
Oh.
Tim and Eric.
I didn't watch that crap.
Wow.
But then I didn't like the producers in that place. But then the other thing I found was really interesting is like, it's very much you're kicking the ball around the park and you're interacting with other characters. And one of the things that the developer was talking about in there was that they basically got these people together and it's all sort of ad-libbed. All the conversations are ad-libbed.
Really? Oh.
Which I think is really fascinating. So I really want to see where that goes. I don't think it comes out to like 2022. I'm not sure. Yeah. And then Walk is also, I think it's a Japanese game, and it's another. It's a horror game, survival horror, but it actually looks like it's using footage that was taken from like closed circuit cameras,
Right.
and then they
Yeah.
overlaid. It's supposed to look like a PlayStation 1 game, kind of,
And it kind of does.
but it's like full motion video backdrops, but what you would like full motion video that you would see from a closed circuit television camera at
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So it's really,
Got that same vibe.
yeah, it's really cool looking. And I mean, I know when you're talking about indie games, you're always talking about interesting art style. I mean, that's the joke. But these are things that I haven't seen before. Like, it's not just, not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's not just the super pixelated look, which everybody does now. Still looks gorgeous, but everybody does it now.
Mhm.
It's not like a low poly look, like a low poly flat shaded look. These are legitimately new and different looking, and I'm really interested to see where they go from there. So
Mhm.
there's a couple that I've decided that I really want to keep an eye on in the
Okay.
coming year. That was really it that I added on here.
All right.
I just saw
So
that Ned
these
Beatty
last 2
died.
years.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it.
Are you
I have,
sure?
I have no strong.
Oh, you just saw that Ned Beatty died?
Yeah, I just saw the Ned Beatty
Yeah.
dying is more relevant than talking about the friggin' Avatar game. Who cares?
Oh, there's an Avatar
There's-
game?
There's a new Avatar game.
Ubisoft is doing.
I will
an
never
Avatar game.
understand.
Oh,
Yeah,
but Ned Beatty died.
that
Yep.
sucks.
That sucks.
Not going to Otisville.
No.
Otisburg.
Otisburg, sorry.
Was it Otisburg? Yeah.
No.
That was such a great scene.
Yeah. Superman, the motion picture, is what we are referring to here.
He was great in that
Yes.
movie.
Fantastic.
1978,
Everybody was great in that movie.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was
78 or
great in that
79. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm.
movie. Yeah.
I think that's it. That's the show.
That's it.
All righty, and that is our show for this week. I'm going to do that again because I kind of choked up there.
He's
Wow.
upset about Ned Beatty.
All
broken
righty,
up
and
about
that
Ned
is our
Beatty,
show
yeah.
for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find Generation 16 episodes as they occur.
They're occurring.
Yes, you will find show notes and links to the games that we talked about this week. If you missed any of these trailers that we discussed, you'll find them in our show notes. And you will also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listen application. We're also on Spotify. We're on Stitcher Radio. We're on Facebook. You can like us there. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks. Golly, just about anywhere on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions, anywhere where your computer lets you look at things. We are
Yes.
there. Follow our Twitter account, which is @P1 Podcast, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, we do it on Sunday nights at 5:30 specific time. So join us then, won't you? If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you? You can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. There's so many great games coming out. We're gonna need that money. Them greenbacks.
That cheddar.
Yeah, get some of that sweet iceberg lettuce to be paying for all these delicious games in our video salad.
I see where you went with that. I wasn't sure where you were going with it
I
at first.
looped back around. I
Yeah.
didn't know where I was
No,
going when I started
no,
it,
that's
but
good.
quick minds, man.
There you go.
You know, it was my improv skills. That's why they got me in that soccer game, making up dialogue. It's all improvised.
Okay.
There's no script. It's all
It's a
improvised.
football game.
That's the one. It's the latest John Madden game. It's all improvised. We don't actually use your money for such.
Frivolities.
That's true. We use it for a different kind of frivolity. And that is helping to pay for this little podcast. It helps keep our little live stream going every week. All those hidden costs, of course, that come from running and maintaining a weekly video game podcast. But
Yeah.
hey, guess what, friends? If you are a subscriber on Patreon of the $5 tier,
Cheap.
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this. We play games, crack wise, having fun doing all the stuff we can't do on our regular show.
Yeah.
We got a game set up this week, CJ.
We have an EGM review game from
Those always go well.
June 1996. So get
96.
ready.
So okay, so the PS1 has been out for a few months now, so
Yeah.
we should be very exciting. Yeah, CJ
Mhm.
it puts up old bonus shows from a couple of years ago. He put them up on our. Are they still in our mainstream?
They are on our mainstream, but I'm thinking about making those a separate podcast that you
Oh.
can subscribe
Oh.
to, and then you would get them every week, just the old ones, basically.
Okay.
So we'll see. What do you think people think? Do you want a separate podcast with those? Let me know.
Call our voicemail line and cast your
reach
vote.
out to @P1 Podcast on Twitter and tell me if you would like a separate podcast with just the after shows.
If you vote yes, dial 1-900. But yeah, if you want to hear some of the old
976.
after shows, the old quizzes, you can check them out and then Patreon it on up for access to the new ones. And if you have a couple bucks left over, you can head over to patreon.com/generation16 to help support Greg Seward's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite second runner-up banana, the Sega Genesis.
It was the first runner-up.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Go. Yeah, thank you, Phil, for
Yes.
that. And if you are a supporter of the $5 per episode variety,
Also cheap.
you get access to the weekly vlog that I call the Weekly Commute, where I don't go anywhere. I sit safely in my room in front of a camera,
Smart.
because Papa Phil told me that it was really
smart.
dangerous to do anything otherwise. Where I talk about the episode, talk about other videos I'm working on, like the top 100 video that I am almost done with, which, by the way, will be about an hour and a half when it comes out. So I hope
top
people watch it.
100 what?
Top 100 favorite games of all time.
Of all time?
All time.
Forever?
Forever and ever.
Wow.
Goodness.
Up until now.
Oh,
Ambitious.
yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was a bad idea.
Video games?
But it's almost done. Video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, otherwise it'd just be 100 different versions of Monopoly. So anyway, that's the sort of thing I talk about on there. And also other stuff like the progress of my game room. Like today, the episode that went out talked about my newly acquired Outrun 1-Up arcade machine.
Oh, boy. You
Finally-
did it.
Finally pulled the trigger on that,
You
and
did
I
it.
could not be happier.
We'll talk about that next week.
We'll talk about that next week because
Oh,
CJ
boy.
I just got played off.
Yeah.
Did you notice
right.
that, Phil? I
Yep.
got played off.
He's getting out
I
the
feel
hook.
like between the two of us, if we took bets on who would get played off first, it wouldn't have been me.
I know how to keep things concise.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm sure you know how.
I do.
We've never
I've
seen
read
it in
books.
action. Anyway, yeah, please consider supporting the show, and that's support per episode, not by month. So
There you go.
it's real cheap.
It's also cheap,
Mm-hmm.
as I've heard. CJ,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank you
so
Phil.
much. Gregory,
Yo,
thank you as well.
thank you, Philip.
And of course, thank you to you, the listener, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single one of you. Please stay safe, take care of yourself, look out for your loved ones, your family, your friends. Please get the shot if you can, the vaccine shot, or maybe have a shot.
After the vaccine shot.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Relax, have a little fun.
That's right.
Wear your masks. Take care of each other. We hope to see you again next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.